welcome to Dumela America episode. I am your host, Katom Kabatebe. As you might know, Botswana is National Science Month in August. So to go along with that theme, we have a special guest who will talk about science, a little bit about engineering, a little bit about artificial intelligence, which is a very hot topic in today's climate. So I'll allow her to introduce herself. Hello. Good
Hi.
morning.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. My name is Bella Watson. I'm here for a short time from the US, and I'm very happy to be here.
Welcome to Botswana.
Thank you.
Welcome to the embassy, because as I understand it, there's some work that you're doing at ILEA, and that is what brought you to Botswana. Can you tell us a little bit about working in Botswana, working in ILEA, how that has been?
Sure. Yep. So I've been working at the International Law Enforcement Academy, and it's been lovely there. My main project has been helping implement some technology and just improve some of the processes. And I've also gotten to be involved in a lot of the courses that they run there. But working here has been lovely. I've gotten to meet a lot of amazing people, and I've gotten to meet a lot of people not just from Botswana, but from all over Africa as we bring participants in from other countries.
Wow.
So I'm very thankful for the opportunity.
That sounds like a great place to work. So the main reason we called you on this podcast is because of what you studied. You told me that you did engineering and political science, and you've also dabbled a bit in artificial intelligence. So let's start with the engineering and political science bit. What does that entail? Like, what does that degree? What do you become from doing something like that?
That's a great question. I'll start by saying that it took a really long time for me to decide what I wanted to study. And that is because I knew that I enjoyed science. I knew that I enjoyed engineering. But I also really loved international relations and the idea of working in diplomacy. And I didn't realize that that's something that you could actually combine. So as I was trying to decide what I wanted to study, I was taking some of the engineering courses and then some of the political science courses. And it wasn't until my third year of school when I realized there is a way to combine that. When you think of international relations, you don't usually think of the science and technology component, but it's so important to collaborate and interact with other countries on science and technology issues, especially when we're talking about something like artificial intelligence that does affect everyone. So with the background with the engineering and also political science, my goal is to be able to have enough of the science knowledge and also the political science knowledge to be able to engage in diplomacy on these issues.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of twists and turns. But somehow you made it, you got to do what you love. So congratulations on that. So obviously you studied in the US, and we have a lot of students here in Botswana who are very interested in studying in the US. How did you choose your university? I'm just wondering if they would go through the same process in choosing which university they'd want to study at. So how did you choose your university, looking at what you wanted to do?
That's a great question. And I will be honest and say that I didn't really know what I was looking for when I was looking for my university. So I did a lot of research. Every university has their website where, excuse me, where they have their available courses. They have the different programs and extracurriculars, information on the campus life. And so I did a lot of just looking at all of that. And so I knew that I wanted a smaller school. I knew that I wanted one that had a diverse student body that brought in people from all over to share different perspectives. And so, when you're looking for a university, I think it's important to know what it is that you would like. And knowing what it is that you would like involves doing that research, exploring different options, knowing what different universities have, what makes them different. Some universities are smaller and have maybe more of a closed campus. Other universities are big in big cities where the buildings are all spread out. And so, there are a lot of different differences that are important in kind of making that decision. So again, I think the biggest thing is just doing your research beforehand so you know what it is.
So first identify what you want to study and then do research into the best university that fits what you're looking for. So basically Google is your friend, right? Or is
Google's
there a
your friend.
website that you can recommend that will like list everything?
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about AI, but I think
Yeah.
one of the things that you could use if you're looking for colleges is maybe use AI to help you out with that. Because it's got access to a lot of resources where if you ask, hey, I'm looking for a university where I could possibly study this, but maybe I'm also interested in this. I care about a bigger university with a large focus on technology. What are some schools that combine all of these different factors? So that would be a way to use an artificial intelligence model to actually help you out with that.
Since we're already on the topic, AI, it wasn't your major, or it's not one of the things that you really studied at university. Can you tell us like how you got involved into that, and you know what piqued your interest? What made you like just go ahead and try get some education on AI?
Sure. So I first learned about AI, or more the generative newer AI. I'm sorry, about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And with that, I was working at a nonprofit in Washington, D.C. that does training for government. And they were doing a program that was on artificial intelligence for federal government. And so that's something where I got to learn a little bit about it before it became this big thing that everyone knew about, before ChatGPT was really a thing. And I was interested in it because, as someone who likes technology, I like to just know kind of what's new, right? Yeah. So it was the new, exciting thing. And since then, it's honestly, instead of being an intentional choice where I've sought it out, it's kind of been something where I've fallen into it, where in a lot of the different environments I've been in, there have been opportunities to pursue it. So when I was at university, I was able to be a part of a fellowship program where we looked at what the possible implications of artificial intelligence would be, meaning now that this is a thing that is becoming so big and so widespread, how do we really understand what the opportunities there are, but also what are some of the challenges and possible dangers for it moving forward? And so I got to have a lot of conversations with people that are much more educated on it as I am, and much more involved in the actual development of AI in order to understand what that really looks like.
Okay. So speaking about opportunities and challenges and dangers, what would you say is an opportunity there in AI?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest opportunities and one of the most exciting things for me is just the potential that AI has to impact so many people's lives positively. There are some very meaningful use cases that I've heard of. For example, there was a case where an individual was struggling to be diagnosed with a medical condition, and the doctors couldn't figure out what was going on. And as kind of a last attempt and desperate effort, he uploaded his test results in his labs into an artificial intelligence research agent. And by analyzing all of his different lab factors, the AI model was actually able to suggest a possible diagnosis. Wow. And when he presented that to the doctors, they were actually able to confirm that that was possible and actually treat him for the condition. So that's a very interesting use case. I know another interesting one is they tested a AI tutor in schools that lacked the resources to have in-person tutors. And in that environment, the students that were given this ability to use AI then were able to perform better on testing later on. And I think that's something that's beautiful, where in cases where maybe we don't have the ability to have more people do that work, AI can be some sort of a supplement to strengthen something like education in those environments.
And medical stuff.
And
wow,
medical,
that's
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Like in my own experience, like going into the conversation of the dangers of using AI, in my own experience, like I've realized that instead of like taking time into thinking, I'd like save a lot of time and then just throw the query at AI and then it'll do my thinking for me. So I'm worried, am I gonna stop thinking at some point and just fully depend on AI to do everything for me? So I don't know if that's a real fear or a real danger, or but that's something I worry about.
Yeah, so that's a valid concern, and I think I've worried about that too. Because when you have something like artificial intelligence where you can tell it, what should I eat for breakfast this morning? And it'll give you some decent options. It really does reduce your mental load, how much you actually have to think about.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing there is that artificial intelligence is a tool, but it should not be something that you're relying on fully. And I think that it's hard to do. And that I think requires some intentionality and some thoughtfulness. Because if you wanted to, AI could write every email for you. It could write anything really for you.
Reply a text for you.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think that's when it just comes to recognizing what it is that you want to be able to maintain your own voice for and maintain your own decision making. Because the more I use AI, the more I realize that I could be pretty dependent on it. And so that's when I try to take a step back and tell myself, no, I don't need this AI agent to write this email for me. I can write it in my own words. Or I don't need it to help me with this paper or something like that. So again, it is a very useful tool, and it can help save a lot of time. And I think there are a lot of really meaningful uses for it. But at the same time, I think it really is up to each person to recognize what are the things where it actually is contributing to your life and where are the areas where it might actually start to inhibit you if you defer all of your decision making to it.
Yeah. So most of us, when you say AI, the first thing you think of is ChatGPT. Are there any other platforms where you could like use AI for anything, basically?
Yeah, so there are multiple platforms out there. Another one of the big ones is called Grok. There's another one called Claude. ChatGPT is the one I'll say I'm most familiar with. And it's a very popular one, but yeah, there are others out there. I think it's important though to do your research on the models that you are using, because as more and more artificial intelligence advancement happens, there's more of a likelihood of more models being created by people that you don't necessarily know what their motives are. So it's important to go to trusted sources to know that the model has been trained properly on actual facts and the right information, and to know that the model is safe and working for you.
Okay. So if you could use AI to solve a problem in Botswana or anywhere in the world, what problem would you solve?
Oh, that's a difficult question.
There's a lot of problems in the world.
Yeah. If you gave me more time, I'd give you many answers. But I think one thing, and it's kind of one problem that would help solve other problems, is I think that globally there are so many issues and challenges that just lack resources and lack the right connections to be able to solve. There are maybe researchers in a different country that are working on some solution that might help in a different country. There are people working on certain initiatives in one place where maybe if they knew that there was someone looking exactly for that in another place, that connection would help actually move the problem forward or the solution forward. So I think that I see a possibility where maybe AI could help bridge those gaps. And so you would, in essence, be connecting people globally, maybe in a way where we can actually move forward and solve more of those challenges. So that's a pretty broad answer, but I see it as a tool that could then produce a lot more change and a lot more solutions.
Yeah. And could you, like, sometimes you give it a query or you ask it something, AI, ChatGPT, and then your results are not like exactly as you would want them. And you might have to do some edits or correct the information. Is there a way that you use AI that gives you like better results? Like, how do you give it better commands so that you get the best results?
Yeah, so there's a fancy name for that. It's called prompt engineering. That's essentially how you're writing your question in order to get the right answer back. And that's an important part of utilizing AI well. I'd say the best thing for that is really to treat it like maybe someone that's new to your office or someone that's not yet familiar with the processes of whatever work you're wanting it to do. And by that, I mean, be very explicit with it, with how you want it to perform your task. Okay. If, for example, you're trying to ask it to help you write an email, say that you have the basic format, but maybe you want it to be more formal and maybe you want it to shorten it. Instead of just saying, fix this email, it would be more useful to tell it to that you want it to be more formal, that you're looking for it to be shorter. So really just adding more of those details so that the model actually knows what to do. I think that's the most valuable thing is instead of assuming that it knows what you want and what you're thinking, to be very straightforward so that you can actually get the result that you are looking for.
So be as specific as you can.
Yes.
And that's the part where you apply yourself as well. Like you don't just rely on it to give you what you're looking for.
And I think that's evidence to the fact that the human input is still so important. We're still the ones that are putting those prompts in. We are still the ones that are asking it to help us with whatever it is. And we're still the ones that are in control of that output. So I think that's the most important part that we need to remember.
Yeah. And a lot of people actually worry that AI is going to replace people, is going to take our jobs. You know, we won't have anything to do because everything can be generated online. Is that a real fear, or
I think that
is that something that could happen?
Well, I think that no matter what, there are things that we need people to do.
Yes. And people did create AI.
Yeah. And, you know, I think that AI, again, is a very useful tool. And it can help make us more efficient, which ideally leaves us time to do other things with our time.
True.
But yeah, I see it as something that can bring a lot of positive change, but that at least in this point in time, and I think always, like, can never take the place of people. And I think that moving forward, just like any new technology, things will look different, right? When cell phones came out, that was a revolutionary thing, and many people were scared of that. But now it's just a part of life, and it's something that also has a lot of positive impact. So I think with anything, new technologies bring new opportunities and new challenges, and it's really about understanding what those are and trying to highlight the opportunities and safeguard against those challenges. That's going to be important. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't see it as something that's going to threaten to take over all of our jobs.
Your jobs are safe, people. So some people may want to go into AI as a field of study, and we don't have that in Botswana. Are there opportunities to study AI as a degree in the US?
Yeah, so I believe there are some universities that do have AI focused degrees. Okay. But also you don't need to necessarily have an AI focused degree to be able to explore it. Like we discussed, my degree wasn't focused on AI, but I still was able to explore it through a lot of different opportunities at my university. So again, going back to what we said about researching,
Yes.
I think the really important thing is going to be looking at the universities that do have AI centers, that do have AI degrees, if that is something you're interested in, and focusing, of course, on those.
Okay. So we love a good cultural exchange story here in the Dumela America podcast. So I'd like to ask you something. What is the one thing from the US that you wish Botswana knew?
That I wish Botswana knew. That's a good question.
And one thing from the Botswana that you wish people from the US knew?
Yeah. Well, I think the second one's a little bit easier, so I'm going to start with that one.
Okay.
I wish more people in the US knew, I think, how open and welcoming the culture is here. And there's, I think one thing that I've really learned or grown to love here is how intentional everyone is with greeting one another. It's very common to, when you see someone, of course, tell them Dumela and to actually engage and acknowledge them.
Yeah.
That's something that's less common in the US.
So I've heard.
Yeah, so it took a little bit getting used to.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that's really beautiful and that I wish more people in the US knew about this country. As for the flip side, I guess to kind of flip that one that I just mentioned, I think just because we culturally don't have that same exchange does not mean that we are standoffish or don't like you. It's just that culturally we aren't as, it's just not as normal of a thing, I think, to go up and acknowledge people in the same way as it is here.
So you would only speak to someone you know or someone you need to speak to?
I mean, depending on the circumstance, you'll say hi to people passing by, but and it also really depends on which part of the U.S. you're in. But there are some parts of the U.S. where you very much stay to yourself and not really acknowledging other people unless you do know them. So yeah, I guess the thing I would like to share there is that it's a cultural thing, and it doesn't mean that we don't like you, and we would, love to meet you and get to know you. And so as for Americans coming here, I think it's important to recognize that cultural difference so that that doesn't become a barrier to building friendships here.
Like when I think about it, like when I actually process it, it is kind of strange to say hi to people you don't know.
It felt a little weird at first. Yeah.
Okay. So finally, what's next for you? Do you have any future projects, any exciting goals, any dreams, whether in the field of AI or, just in your work that you do at ILEA or in Botswana?
That's a great question. So I just graduated university, and moving forward, I'll be finishing up my internship program here in about 2 weeks.
Oh, so soon.
Very soon.
How long have you been here?
I've been here for 8 weeks. So it's a 10-week program total, which felt long beforehand, but 8 weeks in, it felt like it's flown by. So yeah, next steps are still up in the air for me. But I do know that I'm very passionate about leveraging technology, something like AI, to impact communities around the world and to create positive change. And that's something that I've gotten to do a little bit at ILEA and that I hope to be able to do moving forward. And I will say, too, that at this point, I'm thinking about staying here longer if I can.
You're welcome to.
I love it here, and I think it's a beautiful country. So if the opportunity arises for me to spend some more time here, I think I will gladly take it. But yeah, to answer your question, the immediate future is a little bit unknown, but I'm very excited to see what the future holds.
I'm sure it'll be exciting for you. So any last words in terms of AI? Like, what would you want people to know? What would you like to share in that space?
Sure. I think the biggest thing is just to try it. there's, like we said, platforms out there like ChatGPT. If you search ChatGPT, you can find the platform just on Google. You don't even have to create an account to start playing around with it. So I think just being curious about it and exploring will be the best way to just learn what it is a little bit. And so with that, maybe one of the things would be, or one of the things that's interesting about ChatGPT or any of the AI models is you can ask it how it can help you. So for example, if I've just started a job maybe as a project manager, I could go to ChatGPT and say, I'm working on this project in this area. My main tasks are to coordinate with other individuals, manage these projects. If you give a description, then you can ask, based on what I do, how is it that you could help me as an AI model? And so with that, the model will then suggest ways that it can help you. And I think that's an interesting way to learn how AI might work best for you, is really just asking it. And so, just don't be afraid to try it. And like we said before, just kind of be curious and research.
I actually just remembered something. With ChatGPT, there's like different, I don't know if you call it versions or different models. There's like ChatGPT 4.0, ChatGPT mini. Does the version that you're using alter the results that you get?
Yes, it does. And I don't think I'm the best person to be able to describe all of the differences between them.
Yes.
But really, the differences are a result of how they're trained and how they're told to respond. So some models are better for, say, you're trying to ask for feedback on a paper that you've written. Some models are better at reading and evaluating that paper and giving feedback on grammar and sentence structure and all of that. And other models maybe are better at providing suggestions for an itinerary for an upcoming vacation. So there are differences between the models. Some of those, if you're just using it for basic tasks, are too small of differences to really matter. But again, going back to just exploring and maybe testing by inputting the same prompt in one versus another might be an interesting way to see how those models differ.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your very insightful knowledge on on AI. Okay, so let's do like a lightning round. This is a section that we're trying to get into the podcast. So I'll ask you like 3 questions and just tell me your truth or whatever comes to your mind. What's your favorite Setswana word or phrase so far?
Honestly, I would say it's Dumela. And the reason for that is what I said before about, I think, just it being such a beautiful thing that people greet each other in that way. So because of the meaning behind it, it's just a word that's very special to me.
Yeah. You know, Dumela is actually like, it has like a double meaning.
I didn't know that.
Dumela can be like agree or acknowledge, or it can be like believe.
Oh.
Like, believe.
That's cool. That's good to know.
And what's your favorite hangout spot in Gaborone? Or in Botswana anyway?
Yeah. So I've been to Mokolodi quite a few times, and I've really enjoyed being there. I like doing the game drives. I like seeing the hippos in the lake. And I love the smoked malva pudding at the restaurant.
I'll try that.
Yeah, you have to try it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a beautiful place. So whenever I get the opportunity to go, I'm very happy to.
When you get a break, that's where you go.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the U.S. food that you miss, or one thing you miss about being in the U.S.?
One thing I miss about the U.S. I am a big hiker. I like climbing mountains. And that's something that in this immediate area, there's not a lot of opportunity for. Yeah. So I'd say that's one thing that I do miss. Because when I can, I like to go camping and to be up at the top of a mountain.
we have a hill.
It's a beautiful hill.
We have the
I
Kali
like
hill,
it, yeah.
but you can't exactly camp up there.
No.
So thank you so much, Bella, for joining us for this episode. It's been a pleasure hearing from you, and it's always great to get both sides of the story, the US story and the Botswana story, and somehow meeting in the middle. So thanks for visiting Botswana. Thank you for the work that you do at ILEA, and for coming on the Dumela America podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been lovely.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.